Hello, all you hobbits, elves, dwarves, men, Maior, Valar, and all others. Today we're going to talk about Ancalagon the Black and what was his power level compared to other beings in Middle Earth. But before I do that, I must put on the One Ring. Yes, the One Ring that will bind all shadows in the land of Mordor, which is my room where the shadows lie. Now that I have the One Ring and have dominion over all living things, let's talk about Ancalagon the Black and what his power level actually was. Yes. So Ancalagon the Black, for those of you that don't know, is a huge dragon made by Melkor, the greatest of the Valar, before his casting out from the world. The head of his dragon host, who actually destroyed his Melkor's mountain fortress in his fall, slain by Arindale with the Cimmeril and the help of the eagles, for those of you that don't know. But what was his power level? Is he Hobbit level, like regular man level, Numenorian level, Elven level, Maiar level, Valar level, or Iluvatar level? We're going to talk about that. First of all, let's get something out of the way. Let's go start at the top. He's definitely not Iluvatar level, because we saw what Iluvatar did when the Numenorians tried to raid Aman. He basically said, "You whole army is dead, bro," and he just opened up the earth and destroyed them all in one fell swoop. Also swallowed up the island of Numenor. So he just did that with a snap of a finger, like, "You dead, bro," and so all of them died. So Ancalagon the Black, despite being this gigantic dragon, cannot do that. So he is definitely not a Iluvatar level. Is he Valar level? And I have to say no, because he was actually defeated by a combination of Arindale with the Cimmeril and the Great Eagles. Now, the Great Eagles are servants of Manwë, but the Great Eagles aren't really Maior or Valar. The fact that he was able to be defeated by Arindale and the Great Eagles makes me think he is not really Valar level. Now, he was blessed by the Valar, and Arindale had the Cimmeril, so he had a lot of power. But I don't think he would have been able to take down Tulkas or Orome or Manwë just with that. And plus, if you actually remember that Orome actually used to delight in hunting Melkor's fell beasts, and the dragon would actually be counted as one of Melkor's creations. Also, Tulkas actually made Melkor flee before his wrath and his laughter when he first came down to Arda, and that was before Melkor actually started lessening himself. So Tulkas was able to take on almost a full-powered Melkor because Tulkas is the champion of the Valar, and Melkor fled before him. So since Tulkas can actually confront Melkor himself, or Morgoth, that's actual like the name that Fëanor gave Melkor, I don't think Ancalagon the Black is quite like full-powered Morgoth level, so he's not really Valar level. Is he Maiar level? Yes, I do actually believe he's Maiar level, and I believe he's high Maiar level. And let me explain why I believe he's high Maiar level. Because if you remember, Smaug, which is far less than Ancalagon, was a great foe in the Third Age. And Smaug was probably like the last great fire-breathing dragon, which means he's much lesser than Ancalagon the Black, and maybe much lesser than any of the fire drakes of the First Age. And I did a video about who would win between Smaug and Daren's Bane, and I think like it would be a pretty close fight. Daren's Bane is a Maiar. He might be one of the mid-level Maiars or a lesser Maiar. I don't really know. He's just a regular Balrog. So if Smaug was equal to him, then Ancalagon has to be greater at least than a lower level Maiar or a mid-level Maiar. Plus, you can go back to the fall of Gondolin. The fire drake of Gondolin was carrying two Balrogs on his back. So to me, that makes the fire drake of Gondolin greater than the Balrogs, and Ancalagon the Black is much, much greater than any of the other dragons, so therefore he would actually be greater than those Balrogs. It also said during the War of Wrath that the Balrogs and the orcs and everything were slain by the host of the Valar, and they did not drive the host of the Valar back. But however, when the dragons came, they came with thunder and lightning, and they actually drove the host of the Valar back. So to me, and Calagon the Black was the foremost of that host. So to me, that actually means the dragons greater than Balrogs. So therefore, like the head of the dragons and Calagon the Black, which was seemingly as big as a mountain, although like there are definite like arguments about how big he actually is. To me, that means Ancalagon was probably greater than Gothmog, the Lord of Balrogs. So that I think puts him at least at a high Maiar level. Now, like I don't really know like how high on the Maiar level he is. There are like the Maiar of the Sea, which basically did raise the whole island of Numenor. But those Maiar, like in an earlier edition, were actually designed as Valar, and they just got downgraded. So those guys are OP as crap. So we're not counting those guys. The fact is, Eonwë, the greatest in Middle Earth of arms, and the Herald Banner of Manwë didn't just go up to like Ancalagon and cleave him in half. So at least Ancalagon has that going for him. And the thing is, if Eonwë can't just like straight up go up and like pwn you, that means you actually have some power. And you actually drove the host of Eonwë back. So I think Ancalagon, by that regard, is at least more powerful than like a mid-level Maiar and probably a high-level Maiar, but definitely not achieving the power of a Valar or a Luvatar. Now, Eonwë might have never just seen a dragon, so he might have just been taken back, but by all accounts, the descriptions of Ancalagon, how big he was, and the fact that the dragons were actually able to drive the host of the Valar back, which included, Maiar like Eonwë, I think the leader of that dragon host was actually at least high Maiar level. And plus, just like from the descriptions and stuff, he made Ancalagon sound a lot more intimidating than just a regular Balrog. So I think my conclusion is high Maiar level. Obviously, things that might be able to beat him, obviously, Arindel and the Cimmeril and the Eagles of the Air, obviously, they did beat him. Valar could beat him, like Tulkas and Arome, I'm pretty sure could beat him. Iluvatar, obviously, and I think like if like Eonwë like got his footing back together and actually fought Ancalagon, he might have actually been able to beat him too. But I think that might have been actually a pretty close fight. And of course, things like Tom Bombadil, he might actually be able to beat. He might actually be able to beat Ancalagon the Black as well. But we don't really know too much about Tom Bombadil. I feel like in his own realm, Bombadil could probably beat everything. But still, I would place Ancalagon the Black at high Maiar level in terms of power level. So let me know if you agree or not. Like and subscribe, hit that bell notifications button, and remember, you shall bow to the One Ring.